This week is Parshas Ha'azinu. Literally, it means to hear, hearken. It's basically an exhortation, like many of the exhortations we have in the Chumash, and particularly in the book of Devarim. It is unique in that it is expressed in poetic form. It also has unique insights that are in it in and of itself. The basic theme is the importance of observing the law, as is written in the 5 books of Moses, as well as it's important to the land of Israel and the people of Israel. It starts with expressions of the goodness of God. Hatzort amim pa'alo, kol derachav mishpat. The rock, perfect are his works. All of his ways are just. The idea of a rock meaning that it's durable, always there when you could rely on it. It's always there. Perfect works means that the works of God, or the objectives of God, will always perform their task. They're not lacking anything. It continues, Kel emunah ve'ein avel, sadik v'yashar hu, that he is a God, meaning a power, that he is reliable, and he doesn't abuse his power. Sadik v'yashar hu means that he is fair and honest. So to speak, expressions of a personal relationship of God, with God, someone who has actually seen and experienced God in his own life. Okay? It continues with the expressions of God's love of Israel. Kinesher Ya'ir Kino, Al Gozalav Yerachev, like an eagle which flutters above its nests. An expression of protection of God for the children of Israel. Vayenakehu devash bisala v'shemen mechalamish tsur. Okay, this is an expression of it says he nursed him from honey from of a rock, and oil from a flintstone. Honey is sweet, oil is rich. The idea that you could get them from rocks and dry stones is an expression of God giving delicacies in situations that are very difficult. It continues with more conventional ones. The butter from the herd, the idea of milk, im chelev karim, and the fat of sheep, meaning very tasty meat. Wine. Okay. Then it immediately goes into the reaction of the children of Israel to wealth, especially in the land of Israel, which is decidedly negative. This seems to be the focus of the whole song. It says that the people basically rejected God and denigrated God, in spite of all of the good things and salvations that he did for them. The idea is of a rejection and a denigration specifically because they had wealth. That there is something within wealth that causes a negative action to keeping the faith, and that can be quite extreme. The reaction of God is anger. One has to bear in mind that there are different aspects of understanding of God. The highest aspect is that of God's omnipresence, that God is found as much in the heavens that we can only perceive in our mind, as much as he is found in the rocks and stones on earth and all of the living creatures, the God that is unchangeable. When you go to the lower levels, God is seen as a force guiding the world. The world is seen as something independent of God. So to speak, you can think of a child playing with electric trains, where he's running these little trains. So to speak, God is running the world as an independent force, and human beings have free will. So God's reaction to being spurned is anger and rage. The comparison of God to a rejected lover is very common within the prophets, and this would be an example of one of them. The idea of someone who really is someone's beshirt, soulmate, and them rejecting what is good in them specifically because of foolish reasons. That's the basic idea. And what happens as a result of this rejection is you have two aspects, all of them, both of them bad. It's a question of how you want to look at it. In one case, God conceals himself. He hides his face. There is an absence of God. The idea of an absence of the name of God means an absence of what is good in the world. What remains then is evil, poverty, war, persecution. The second aspect is God is still very much present, but he is angry and vengeful. As a result, he, shall we say, personally inflicts pain and suffering on the children of Israel because of this rejection and ingratitude as well. The idea being that the good things that they got were something extra that you would not get from nature in and of itself. In addition to that, the gifts bestowed upon them by nature are greater than the gifts that are bestowed by nature upon others. The idea of God working through nature. A person can have greater intelligence or greater beauty or greater strength than his friends. He could be the top of his class and that type of thing. He doesn't have to be just average. Average would be just what everyone gets. Someone who is very smart, that really must be reckoned as a gift. So to speak, he is gifted. What happens after that is the conclusion of this song, which says Harninu Goyim Amo. sing out praises. The idea of a rena, it's not just song, it's like a sound that comes from somebody's soul. It's, a shout of joy. Goyim Amo, Goyim is an individual nation, but it refers to the few people who were of a different breed within the children of Israel who really clung to the faith. It continues, Ki dam avadav yikum v'nakam yashiv litzarav, for the blood of his servants will rise, and vengeance will be returned upon their antagonists. The idea is that the suffering and the losses, they fight loss of property, of the people who suffered because of the prosperity of others. In other words, when the people became prosperous, they became errant. These people did not become errant in the face of prosperity. As a result of that, they were basically stigmatized and persecuted. But nevertheless, they kept the faith. The idea is that they were bearing the insults of God. It says that there will be vengeance extracted for this. The idea of vengeance, it's an important concept in the Chumash and in the faith as well, is the idea that a person should feel some satisfaction, some vindication when he sees bad things happen to evildoers, especially people who have been evil to him personally. It's expressed in the Psalms, I think it's 55 or thereabouts, where it says that the tzaddik will wash his feet in the blood of a rasha and say that surely there's a judge judging the world. In other words, a person feels good because their values in their faith ultimately is proven. Then it goes to the essence of the song. V'chiper adamaso amo, and it will often atone, but it's kesser. Kiper is the language of scouring, the land of his people. The idea is that the land of Israel in and of itself has an evil inclination. Because it's a holy land, what's the aspect of the evil inclination? To be specifically profane, or to specifically denigrate religion. So to speak, this is scoured, like one scours a pot. And it's, so to speak, it's in the ground in and of itself. Once it is cleansed, in other words, people see that the pleasures that they get from rejection of the faith are basically flawed and transient, and eventually they are repaid with a heavy price. What remains is the people who have been keeping the faith all along through these difficult times, and so to speak, it's a case of the humble will inherit the earth.